Hello, welcome back to Sword and Musket. This is just a little addition to the video about the Flintlock coaching gun. Somebody has asked a very pertinent question, a sensible question as to how the bayonet actuates and springs out, how the mechanism works and how it locks into place. So as I've got the gun here now and I'm just about to give it a complete clean, I can show you up close how that works. So here's the gun again. The bayonet is cruciform and mounted at the muzzle end. It's actually 14.5 inches long, so that will get through most people. Now, underneath, after I flick this open, you'll be able to see a spring, but at the moment that bayonet is under pressure. It wants to open. The force is being pushed upwards by a leaf spring, which you can just see the side of, and there is a locking mechanism which will drop over this squared off piece here, and that locking mechanism is in there. So because it's beautifully made and perfect still to this day, some 200 years later, it all still works. Now this is purely a sliding catch, like a bayonet catch. So the thumb goes on here, the tip of the bayonet is in there. You don't want to be leaning in too close when you pull this catch backwards, but the effect of pulling the catch backwards is out, half a second or so. Now, it's now locked into position, very sturdy mount. If we look at this up close, we can now see what was causing the pressure. So this leaf spring here was, and it has a roller. That roller was sitting in this slightly cupped section above the rib. And there's the hinge running through it there. So that spring, which I can hardly move, was in that cup. So purely releasing it from the other end allows the spring to open and force the bayonet round. So it's locked into position. To unlock it, you simply press the button and it lifts up again. It's loose, it turns over, it naturally sits there. So you've got that much spring compression to basically arm the bayonet. So I hope that makes sense to you. You can see a little bit clearer in this light, that upper rib Damascus pattern. And as I said, it isn't engraved with an address. I wasn't massively clear about where and who made this gun, but if you remember, I mentioned the Birmingham proof house marks on the other side. So the gun was made in Birmingham, which was a large centre of gun making, along with London. And we looked at the name W. Jones and we found only one W. Jones, believe it or not, one William Jones. There were plenty of other Joneses, but only one William Jones residing at the Lichfield Street address in the period where, one, the proof marks were used commonly, and two, this form of swan neck cock and exterior lock were more common. So that's why I think it was made by W. Jones of Lichfield Street, Birmingham. And he was only there until he was actually active 1811 to 1819. Then his son took over and was busy, or then they changed the name to Jones and Son, moved to a different address, but were active until about 1854, and then the name carried on again at a later period with someone else, possibly in the family, but they kept the same name. So that was my research, which put it between 1811 and 1819 from Lichfield Street in Birmingham, and also a quick explanation of how that bayonet works. So time to strip it now and clean it thoroughly because of the damage that can be caused by black powder after it has burned. Thanks for joining us again. Keep an eye on By Sword and Musket, and we'll keep featuring the different guns as they come through. At the moment, I've got rather a lot to do, in that this is all part of the latest shipment that are being stripped, prepared, proofed, and then will be offered for sale. So I've got a fair bit to do at the moment. The videos might be a bit thin on the ground for a while. Thanks and goodbye. Thanks for joining us. Remember, click like and subscribe at By Sword and Musket 9312.